videos, the discussion of Anglo-Saxon literature along with its period has already been taken into account. In the present video, in continuation with the classification of history of English literature, I am going to take into account the content of Middle English period. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share it along with your kids and kin. Well, Middle English period is classified into three parts, namely the dawn of Middle English. It spans from 1066 to 1350. The flowering of Middle English, which spans from 1350 to 40. That this period, the flowering of Middle English, is also known as the Chaucerian age. And then thirdly, the decline of the Middle English period. It spans from 1400 to 1500 or 1516. This period is also known as the Barren Age. As the Anglo-Norman period. Anglo-Norman period implies the fusion of Angles and Normans. Angles implies English people, whereas Normans implies the people of Normandy, the then province of France. Dear students, the Anglo-Norman period starts with the victory of Normans over England. Mark my words, what did I say? The victory of Normans over England. In fact, William, the Duke of Normandy, defeated the then English King Harold Godwinson. What did I say? William, the Duke of Normandy, defeated the then English King Harold Godwinson in 1066 in the Battle of Hastings. This date and the name of the battle is very important for your exams. After the Normans or the French people occupied England, French social, culture, literary and linguistic impacts began to spread and take root into English soil. With the passage of time, English nation was born. Historians call this very period the Anglo-Norman period. Here it's very important or significant for you to know the few impacts of Norman conquest. It radically changed English culture. French became the language of law and standard class. Old English became confined to the lower classes only, Society became hierarchical and it introduced feudal system. Here feudal system has been described. You can have a look and understand it. Founded towns along with the ecclesiastical and military monuments. More than 10,000 French words entered English vocabulary. They were all associated with law, art, literature and food. Let's now come to have a glimpse of literature of Anglo-Norman period. The significant works of the period are as follows. The first one is Lemon's Brut. First composer of this very work, Brut, was Weiss. It was later paraphrased by Lemon, and that's why it came to be called Lemon's Brut. As regards the content or the theme, let me here remind you that it deals with the story of the fall of Troy and precedes it with the story of Brutus. The second significant work is The Owl and the Nightingale. This popular medieval poem, deals with the debate. The main issue is the debate, and this debate takes place between owl and the nightingale. The debate is opened by the nightingale. Mark my words. The debate is opened by the nightingale and the owl is condemned for being black and evil. Owl too accuses nightingale for singing only and only plaintive songs. The debate, however, leads to no solution, and finally It was all managed by Nicholas of Guildford, who has to interfere as an arbitrator. Well, this very work is the finest example of debate poetry, nature poetry, and at the same time it can also be taken into account as the beast fable. The third work that comes to us is khazana. It means runner of the world. It's very important for you to understand its meaning. It means the runner of the world. It's an anonymous English poem. That means its author is not known till date. It records the history of the world. What did I say? It records the history of the world as given in the Old and New Testament. As given in the Old and New Testament. Let's now come to popular ballads of the period. Here, it's very important to you to bear in mind the significant ballads. Among them, the ballads of Robin Hood, Unfortunate Lord Rendell, and the Wife of Usher Swell are significant. As regards the popular anonymous poems, they are namely Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, Patience, Pearl, and Cleanness. Kinghorn. Now another significant aspect of this literary work is romances. Here I would like to make you understand that romances replaced Anglo-Saxon heroic poetry. In Anglo-Saxon period, what was there is heroic poetry. In the Anglo-Norman period, Romance literature, we studied about heroic poetry. But in medieval English poetry, in medieval English literature, I say romances deal with marvel-filled adventure and describe knight errantry during the assigned quest. The three types of romances are the matter of France, the matter of Britain or matter of England, and the matter of Rome. Let me begin here with the matters of France. Famous story of England or English romance is Chanson the Roland. Whereas the matters of Britain deal with the story of King Arthur and his knights of the Round Table. It is French legend in origin. As regards matters of England, they are less courtly and glorify humble and simple virtues. What did I say? They are less courtly and they glorify humble and simple virtues. Examples are stories of Kinghorn, Havelok the Dane, and the Guy of Warwick, etc. Finally, let's come to the matters of Rome. Roman romances deal with the stories of Alexander the Great, the Trojan War, the siege of the Thebes, the siege of Troy, and the adventures of Aeneas. These romances are in conventions of the courtly love. Well, so in this video, we discussed briefly about of Middle English period. Moreover, in the next class.